In the wake of yesterday's insanity, the assault on Republican congressmen in Virginia who were practicing for a charity baseball game that is over a century old, that has Democrats and Republicans. This insanity, someone came and shot up the joint.
Yeah.
Now, the Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, says it's time to finally come together. Take a look.
We're all imperfect, but we do not shed our humanity when we enter this chamber. For all the noise and all the fury, we are one family. We are united in our shock. We are united in our anguish. An attack on one of us is an attack on all of us.
And a lot of people are asking if the increasingly ugly political rhetoric on both sides contributed to this violence.
First of all, I just want to say thank you to the Capitol Police, because they rushed into that scene and they helped those people. And I think oftentimes that gets ignored. We get into discussions about politics and people don't realize that without that law enforcement there, lives would have been lost that weren't lost. So I just want to thank them personally. I think all of us can agree that these are men and women that... I do think there is a rush. I do think the media holds some responsibility. I do think there is a rush to politicize. I do think it happens on both sides. I remember when the Gabby Giffords shooting happened, there were a lot of people in media that didn't take a minute and rush to put that on Sarah Palin because of that map that she had put out targeting districts. I remember Bernie Sanders fundraised off that opportunity 3 days after that woman was shot.
Let's not point fingers. That's what the conversation
No, I understand. But what I'm trying to say is it happens on both sides.
Yes.
None of us are innocent in this. We all tend to sometimes rush to judgment. And I think Paul Ryan is saying something great right now, but this happens for a moment. Every time there's a shooting, people come together, or a tragedy, people come together for a moment, and then we forget. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us to each of us to say, I'm not going to go that route. I'm going to give it a minute. When somebody gets shot or there's a shooting, I'm not going to have a gun control debate that second on Twitter. I think we all have a responsibility, and that's what he and people on the left, Nancy Pelosi, everyone is asking us to do.
Why isn't
and
this
I want to do my
time
part
to have the gun control debate?
Well, because I think you need, when people...
Can we finish the first conversation first?
Yeah.
Before we go into the gun control debate.
100%.
Do we need to change the rhetoric? Is the real conversation.
Absolutely.
Well, I think the big point you were making about it happens on both sides, because right now you hear everyone coming out saying it's the media, it's the liberals, and then the bottom line is these types of people run the gamut and spectrum of political beliefs. Crazy is crazy, and it doesn't have one party affiliation for sure. But two, I think, and this is not pointing a finger, but yesterday, there were a lot of people coming together, and like you said, it lasts a minute. And Donald Trump had said some scripted words. What frustrated me is this morning I woke up to tweets about the Russian collusion. This is 24 hours after some people have lost their lives.
That's what's on his mind.
Serving our country. And I just think in that moment, what he said yesterday, then starts to kind of, it's hard to believe it when we're already back to another political...
Well, there seemed to be a lot of bipartisan feelings until then Donald Trump Jr. opens his mouth and Newt Gingrich says something dumb. You know, Pelosi and Ryan were both on the same page, and that was kind of nice for a second. I mean, we are all in this together, and there's plenty of blame to go around, all around. And yet, it would be nice to see if they would start working together to improve the country. That's the one thing they don't seem to
and they don't seem to know how to do that. And we've been talking, Whoopi, about this for such a long time, this devolution of our civility, of just the loss of kindness to one another. But I'm not blaming Donald Trump for the shooting, but it does come from the top. You know, leadership is leadership, and he has started this devolution.
Well, he hasn't started it. That's the issue.
You don't think he has?
No, I don't. I think it was already here because you couldn't explain Gabby Giffords.
Yeah.
You know, you couldn't explain...
But I'm talking about the rhetoric.
We have to wrap. We'll be right back with more Hot Topics.